With Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews missing so much time in the last 2 weeks, actually missing the entire game against the New Orleans Saints, and with Bateman being out for the year, obviously, at this point, Ravens have needed other guys to step up, and Isaiah Likely has been one of them. Demarcus Robinson played quite well against the Saints, actually available for two bigger throws where we miss him. Deshaun Jackson had a catch, actually two, but one of them didn't count. Nearly made a third catch on a great throw, unbelievable throw by Lamar. And then James Proche. I think he had two catches this past week and three against the Bucks on Thursday Night Football. I might be wrong on that. Maybe it was only two. I think he's played much better than the stats show. If you listen to this channel much, you know I'm not a stats person. Guys can be playing well at receiver, but not making six catches a game. It's the number of receivers across the league playing well isn't only limited to guys who make 85 catches in a season. That's absolute horseshit. James Prochet's been playing well in the past couple of weeks. Actually been blocking better at certain times. You know, when we go to 11 personnel with Bateman being out of there, and who knows, hopefully Andrews is back when we play Carolina at home. I think there's a place for Proche to be on the field more, and there's a time and place for us to get him the football on certain concepts. Great hands. I've only seen one ball in the last 3 years that I thought Proche should catch, and I can't even remember what game it was, but my brain tells me there was one. Maybe you can remember it. Other than that, whatever's in his catch radius, he catches. So let's look at, I think, 14 plays from the last 2 weeks. I got him organized by where he is lined up. So this is the one spot where I would offer to you that I would not like to see him lined up, unless we're going to motion somebody from the other side, maybe run a wheel, some kind of complementary route. I don't want to see him as the X. To me, with our personnel that we have right now, that's a Demarcus Robinson thing. Maybe an Isaiah Likely thing, but Likely seems to be more of a big slot. This ends up being, or should have ended up being, our RPO type look, where we shoot the ball out here into the flats, and we've got two tight ends to block. So we've got physical advantages, great play concept. On the backside, we're not looking at Proche at all. He's not even running a route. He understands that it's either going to be a run play to his side, or it's going to be the screen up the right side. Demarcus Robinson and Devin Duvernay have been the guys that get this play concept most of the time. Am I saying that Proche should be up here? No. I'm saying that this is where I want to see him the least, where I think he's going to have the least impact. Generally, I think he's going to succeed either being the inside guy in the bunch or the outside. In this case, with it being a screen basically out here to Demarcus Robinson, I'm not sure that we need Proche up there to the top side at all. So I understand why he's the X. But now let me make a larger point. You can't just have him backside as the X only when we're running the RPO. That's a giveaway. Now, it appears to me, the more we get into the season, that less and less teams are prepared from a formation and personnel standpoint. The thing I'm trying to open you guys' eyes to, if you don't see the game this way, that's fine. We approach the game from our foundational elements. I was taught to look at the game from a formation and personnel standpoint. If we only put Proche backside as the X when we run this little bubble screen, then that's not good. That means that teams know what's coming, or they have a pretty good idea what's coming. Even if the second part of the play is the running back cross and face, which I think Kenyon Drake is supposed to do here, he ends up blocking the end. We can't do that. We can't only have Proche as the X because in that one play, because the more predictable you are, the better defensive teams are going to prepare for that. And some of the things that people constantly say, are we going to be able to throw the ball in the playoffs? Are we going to be able to run the ball in the playoffs? Some of that is actually attributed to us being predictable from a formation and personnel standpoint. I've digressed enough. Let's move on to Proche in the slot, or what I call twin. If he's more than 7 yards from the tackle, that's a twin, not a slot. And actually, we would usually cut that down to 4 yards. So meaning, if he's within 4 yards of the left tackle, he is considered a slot. Since he's wider than that, he's considered a twin receivers, two receivers to one side. Again, RPO, look, but really probably just play action. And Lamar does this like standing straight up, like kind of deadpan delivery. Really cool, man. Unusual, unique. You don't normally see quarterbacks standing straight up like that. But in this case, delivers it dead on to Proche, who catches it, gets flipped for a first down. We're going to be a little bit back and forth in terms of whether Proche is targeted or not. This is Monday Night Football against the Saints again. He's not targeted on this China out, but he's the underneath in a high-low. If this is a zone, it's not a zone. This is man, so he's the low part of the route, and then likely is the high part. You got your classic clear-out route here. You got a DB closing. Doesn't look like to me if the ball is thrown out here that Proche is going to have a huge amount of separation, but looks like he'd have an opportunity. I understand there's people that would have a concern about the ball being thrown to him with longer DBs guarding him, able to reach the ball before he could. To me, arm length is talked about way too much in the NFL. Like, there's a lot of people who only talk about arm length at certain positions who've never coached a day in their life and don't understand that, there's plenty of situations where it doesn't even come into our minds at all. James Proche's arm length does not prevent him from catching footballs. If it's usually would be something that happened prior to the throw in terms of the route he's running, maybe the route design, or maybe him not running the route correctly. All right, a twin receiver again. One thing that we know is he played in a spread system in college, and he's really good at hot routes. He always has been since he got here, understanding that the blitzer's crossing his face, so he's got basically 3 over 2, 1, 2. He's got an inside-out linebacker, outside-in corner, and then an alley safety who's way off, obviously. So he's just going to sit down, catch the ball. You don't see him fumble. You see guys try to bully him. Like the Cincinnati Bengals come to mind. They did it last year multiple times. They try to bully him after the catch, make it look like they're going to strip him, send a message subliminally or physically, I guess, actually. Those things don't work with Proche. They don't. I think he makes himself available to catch the football, not on this route. You're getting a safety running down here, appears to be running towards the running back, basically running right through, the slant, or not really a slant, a little in that Proche is, running over the top of the first or second level defender. Completion to Demarcus Robinson on the left sideline. We didn't really get much out of it. Twins, but now he's the outside receiver. Again, I don't think this is necessarily going to be the best usage of his skills, but whoa. How many catches have we had like that in the past 3 or 4 years? Since Proche's been around on this roster, how many catches have we had like this? I can't think of them right now because my brain is on the content and the analysis that I'm trying to give you here. So let me know in the comment section who's the guys that have caught balls like this in the last 2 or 3 years. I can't remember any that had that impressive a leaping catch. There's been other great catches, don't get me wrong, but that one kind of sticks out. He's in trips, but he's the middle receiver. Again, against Tampa Bay Thursday Night Football. And he's open and available for the ball now. This ball should be, to me, if we're not sure about what we've got here, in terms of him breaking that in or maybe sitting down, whatever the read is for Lamar and Mark Andrews, to me, we should be off of it. The ball should be thrown to Proche now. Like that, to me, that's where you could make a complaint about Lamar in certain situations being focused too much on Mark Andrews. And I would say, yes, I think that is true at times. It's not true on every play, obviously, but I think this could be one of them. This will be the high part of the read. There's some type of vertical here by, I think, Duvernay. There's the low part of the read. To me, it's a progression. And this should be next after this option is closed off. And maybe pre-snap or post-snap, we've decided that is not a good option either. That ball should be thrown to Proche. He should have another catch on his docket. And then, scrambling to his right, Lamar hasn't been incredibly accurate this year. You would say we would like to see this ball completed. He's completed that pass plenty of times in his career, but we're talking about Proche. All right, he's open and available for the ball. Didn't happen. Keeps playing football. Keeps running. Lamar extends the play, and he understands, okay, this is scramble drill now. I got to make myself available for the ball. That's what he's doing, if you ask me. And I think he does a good job of it. I think he's consistently done a good job in scramble situations where Lamar extends the play. Again, in trips, he's the outside guy. I just don't think that these are the matchups that he's going to be that are going to put him in position to succeed as an outside receiver. Although he did win the route from up top that I talked about, was a spectacular catch. As it stands, you got slant flat on the backside, and we should use this more often. We should use it more often. They're playing cover 2, I believe, up here with the corner and the safety and the inside backer. So they're playing 3 over 2. And Lamar is so good. He understands. I don't want to throw this too far this way and bring this linebacker into play because Lamar's already determined the coverage. And when he decides to throw the football, it's because he reads what the corner is doing. He knows it's cover 2. Something in their alignment that they picked up on film study is telling Lamar that it's cover 2. Could be the depth of the safety along with the alignment of this linebacker. So he throws it like in the middle of the chest or the left-hand side of the chest to keep him away from the linebacker. In my opinion, this would be a good route for Proche. But again, it's lined up as the X. I don't know if you get cover 2 if Proche is the X. This safety may not be there because Proche is not a guy to threaten you, vertically or downfield as much as Demarcus Robinson is. Hopefully that makes sense. That's why I'm saying I don't think that it suits his skill set for us to or the offense for him to be lined up as the solo receiver. I do like it when he's lined up in the bunch, like he is here, the inside guy, Monday Night Football against the Saints. And he's open and available for the football. It's thrown somewhere else. I've talked about the Isaiah Likely, read and why he is reading zone here. He's wrong, but he's not making the wrong read. He's seeing a linebacker inside leverage, front him up. And this guy who's playing man on him is at 7 yards depth. So he's not in Likely's, thought process at all. Likely is reading zone because of accurate information in his brain. No one within 7 yards of him. An inside linebacker, inside leverage in terms of the second level players. He's reading zone, and I think that's why he sits this down. And Lamar thinks that he should keep running, which is correct. So I don't think anybody was wrong on this play. Let's talk about Proche. He's going to run a little China out, and then I think he's going to turn it into like a wheel. Not really a China out, my bad. Just a little speed out. And he's just very intelligent. When he doesn't get the ball delivered, he understands, okay, I got to keep moving. I'm a big fan of Proche. Do I think he's a 70 catch guy in the NFL? Well, no, certainly not in this offense. If he gives us 20, 24 catches this year, I think that'll be a good thing. We run in mesh here. This is the ball that was thrown behind Demarcus Robinson. Obviously Lamar can complete this pass. He has completed it. If we able to get this ball to him, we definitely going to have the first down, which the yard to go is here. If not a touchdown, because this is man on Drake, and that defender is running with Drake. And that's a DN. We catch that ball, that's a touchdown. That's a first down, possibly a touchdown. Let's talk about Proche. You got mesh. And it's also possible that we could throw this ball to Proche once we understand that it's man. Since this DB has to go over the top, we could throw this ball shallow, and you got this whole side of the field to work with. He had a catch on this exact play against Denver last year for 29 yards, 32 yards, but he was left uncovered because Simmons, the safety, blew the coverage. So when we watch the film of this, or what I'm trying to offer to you guys is he making himself available for the football? I think generally he is. Up top in the bunch, third down, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9. Like the design of it, I think Aikman, like I said in the reaction video, Aikman actually surprised me. I actually kind of enjoyed his commentary a little more than I thought I would. You're getting essentially 2 verticals, and then Proche just sits this down underneath the coverage. It's 3-on-3. 3 DBs versus our 3 receivers. And the Saints have blown it. So they've left Proche uncovered too easy, right? He's never going to drop that ball. First down. I think he can give us that, for real. I think he can give us that often enough to warrant 20, 25 snaps per game. Particularly when we're in 11 personnel, like we are right here. He's open and available for the ball. This is Demarcus Robinson played his butt off this night. Proche's smart, man. He's cutting his route off. Look at the angle he's cutting. Sorry, when I rewind this and play it back in slow speed, sometimes it kind of messes up. Look at the angle he's cutting on this linebacker because he understands the safety's alignment. So he's not drifting at all towards the safety because if Lamar does choose to throw it to him, he wants to throw it, somewhere in here between the top of the numbers and the hash to keep it underneath this safety and in between these two defenders here. And I think Proche processes all of that while he's making his decision approaching the inside linebacker now. So I think he's got quick processing. I'm not even a huge fan of that word as it relates to football players. We call it a read as coaches. All right. So he reads things quickly. He processes things well. There you go. We'll cover both bases. And he's able to make the catch when the ball is thrown to him. His top end ceiling to me would be with some type of spread team, and he gets 40, 45, 50 catches a year on 60 targets, maybe even less than that. I'm not sure that this is the best use of his skill set. It's a Tampa 2. It ain't like Lamar has a whole lot of options here. For real, you've got the under route. Likely is sitting it down because, again, he reads zone. So likely he's not going to run into this defender. That's why you end up with two guys, kind of near each other. And then the Mike backer, White, is going to carry Proche vertically. Really know where to go with this football unless Lamar is going to go away from the read and go backside here to Duvernay, who is wide open. But again, this safety is reading the football, so he sees it thrown. So when we say he's wide open, we got to pull this back. Lamar's releasing the football now. Yes, this safety is ignoring it. But if Lamar's focus was over here to this side, if Lamar was looking here, then it's possible that this safety's body alignment is further in this direction and ready to break on the ball if it's thrown to Duvernay. Hopefully that makes sense. No, Proche is not making himself available there. I don't think that is a great use of his skill set. Let me know what you think of his play. Again, this is limited to the last 2 weeks. I intentionally mixed in some catches with some non-catches so that it wasn't like you saw the 5 catches in a row and then you saw 4 or 5 where he was available or not getting the football or he wasn't getting open, which I think I showed you 2 of, maybe 3. I think we can use the guy. I think we can use him more than we are currently. I'm not into the whole Proche, Ricard argument. I don't care about the personnel groupings. I don't know why some of you do so much. I don't care what personnel grouping we're using as long as it's being successful. And I think 11 personnel with Proche as the third receiver can be successful. I think it can be successful often. I actually expressed in the Discord recently that I think the Ravens are a far more multiple offense than we as fans understand right now. Data takes time to compile and catch up. Certainly the data in the database that we're upkeeping is taking a while to catch up to real time. Still haven't entered information from the Week 9 offensive plays because I'm trying to get out as much content as possible. Let me know if you're as high on James Proche as I am. If we got 2 catches a game from him, sometimes 3, what's wrong with that? That's between 34 and 51 catches in a season. If we got 35, 38 catches from him overall, I think we'd be ecstatic about that. We're not going to get that because he missed so many games from being inactive, right? If we got 35, 38, 40 catches for him, anything above 40 would be gravy, would just be amazing. I don't think we're going to get half as much as that. We might get to 20 or 22 based on, current performance and current output. I think if given more opportunities, James Proche could give us more. And I think he's got the heart of a lion. I really do. I see markers of a guy who could do a lot more if given more opportunity. And I'm glad that the Ravens have a multiple offense where we can use a fullback with 1 or 2 tight ends sometimes, and then use 1 running back and 2 tight ends and no fullback and 2 receivers, 12 personnel. Our 12 is basically 11 and 12 at the same time. And then occasionally use 11 personnel, true 11 personnel with only 1 tight end. Because a lot of the data that you see, to be real, expressed in games is inaccurate. I even mean some of the people who compile personnel data. It's inaccurate. Our 12 personnel with Likely and Andrews is 11 personnel. It's not true 12 personnel. Isaiah Likely is considered a tight end. What position does he play for us? Does he play tight end? Is he an inline tight end that blocks? Is he a slot tight end who we run split zone with? Does he slip out into the flats and we run Y hide with him, which is a complementary play to split zone? We did against the Patriots one time. We did against whoever we played 2 weeks later at home, I think. Bengals. He tried to slip out into the flats, and they defended it well. So I've got him running Y hide twice, but in both situations, it's not actually a pass play to him. It's a shovel pass. So my point is, our 12 personnel is really not 12. It's really 11 in a lot of cases. Proche could be a part of that too. I think he can play. I think he can give us more than we're getting out of him right now. I'm rooting for him. I don't know about you. I'd like to see him get to 25, 28, 30 catches this year. Is that realistic where we are right now? Probably not, because I think we're sitting on 6 catches for the year in the limited opportunities he's been given. Let me know what you think of my breakdown on some of the plays. What you think of some of my thoughts about Proche and our offense being more multiple than even really all of us realize at this moment.